In this video, we'll be discussing Betabux, Becky bouncing, and how the resentment and angst of heterosexual men around Betabux is actually mirrored in a common divorce narrative. Lots of attention has been paid to the incel red pill concept of the Betabux. The expression goes alpha fucks, Betabux, and a deeper formulation would be the observation that many women change the type of men and type of relationships they want as they age, with younger women more open to fun flings with men who are very conventionally attractive and charming, and as they get older, putting greater emphasis on commitment, emotional intimacy, and mutual support. There are probably many reasons for this: a desire to build a family and a recognition of their ticking biological clock, getting burned out from a string of casual relationships, etc. But I would argue there are also economic forces at play. The imbalance in the heterosexual marketplace merits its own discussion, but we can grant that when it comes to uncommitted sex, there is a scarcity of female participants and a virtually limitless pool of male interest. This means that a woman, particularly a young, conventionally attractive woman, is extremely relatively powerful in this marketplace. She is like a landlord in New York City or a professional athlete. There are many buyers and few sellers, so she has a lot of pricing power. But this is not the case in the marriage marketplace or the long-term relationship marketplace, which is basically the marriage marketplace with extra steps. For one thing, monogamous relationships equalize the buyers and sellers because unlike the casual sex marketplace, where one high-status man can service several women, a monogamous relationship demands the full sexual resources of both individuals. This is further compounded by the absence of men who are visible in other markets, men who are only interested in casual relationships, men who are very attractive casual partners, but poor long-term ones due to lack of employment, unfaithfulness, addictions, etc., and men who are already in long-term relationships with other people. As women get older, their dating pool shrinks as men get taken off the market, and the proportion of men older than them, since women overwhelmingly date older, in the single male population nosedives. So in the marriage marketplace, women are relatively less powerful than in the casual sex marketplace. In economics, there is a concept called utility maximization. It emerges from a recognition that individual economic actors are constantly trying to maximize their utility, whether that utility emerges from food, shelter, sexual pleasure, luxury goods, social status, education, etc., relative to the scarce resources they have to trade. The macroeconomic formulation of this problem is sometimes dubbed guns versus butter, and for an individual actor, it might be visualized simply as cars versus vacations. Someone with a finite amount of money can spend it on cars or vacations or some combination of the two. But because his resources are finite, every additional unit of cars, whether that means an additional car or just a nicer one, means one fewer unit of vacations, whether that means fewer vacations or just less expensive ones. Given limitless resources, this individual would probably want many expensive cars and many expensive vacations, but given his limited resources in the real world, he must choose how to distribute his resources to cars, vacations, and many other tangible and intangible goods to maximize his utility. These laws also apply to the various dating marketplaces. In the casual sex marketplace, young, conventionally attractive women are rich and can maximize their utility across the small set of appealing traits in a short-term sexual partner, as opposed to the more complicated trade-offs involved in finding a suitable husband. This is where the Betabux resentment creeps in. Years later, the men who court these women for long-term relationships probably have a subconscious intuition of this phenomenon and do the math. If she is choosing me now, when she has to optimize for many traits besides charm and sexual attraction, how do I stack up against the types of guys she pursued when she could afford to focus more singularly on those traits? This is only exacerbated if her current partner looks noticeably different than her type during her younger years, or if he learned the hard way just how unwanted he was in the casual sex marketplace, and can't bring himself to believe that his current partner has totally unorthodox tastes compared to the marketplace itself. Reassurances that she must be more attracted to him than those past men because she chose him are cold comfort. Because men understand that the elite men in the casual sexual marketplace would never consider commitment with most of the women they sleep with. Lots of men have deep insecurities about their attractiveness to women, and seeing themselves as the settled for second choices of their partners compounds those insecurities. But the point of this is not to merely restate the concept of Betabux, because there is an interesting corollary to this phenomenon relating to middle-aged self-improved men divorcing their wives in favor of younger, more attractive women, or, as I would like to coin, Becky bouncing. A lot of men get bald, fat, and insufferable as they age, but there are some men who peak later in life. Maybe they overcame social awkwardness, got in better shape, or made significant career advancements, but for whatever reason, some men are significantly more attractive to the opposite sex in their 40s than they were in their 20s. And as utility-maximizing economic actors, they might be tempted to rethink how they've optimized the distribution of their newfound sexual marketplace value, whether that means numerous casual relationships or a new marriage with a younger, more conventionally attractive woman. Women rightly feel betrayed by such a husband, that he would jettison their life partnership and abandon the woman he claimed to love for cheap thrills and young flesh is a massive hit to her self-worth. Isn't he revealing that when they first got together, he was just utility maximizing, making cold calculations about the best woman he could realistically get and settling for her? Wouldn't this affect her ability to feel truly loved and valued by men in general moving forward? What I am proposing is that the Betabux phenomenon can be understood in some ways as a time-flipped version of the newly improved middle-aged man, Becky bouncing. Just like the wife who is abandoned when her husband's options open up, the Betabux feels like his partner is only with him because her options have tightened. It's two sides of the same transactional coin. The resentment of men who feel like they are in a Betabux relationship is hopefully more understandable to women given this framing. Being made to feel like you are a compromise or a second choice by someone you are emotionally intimate with is soul-crushing. Thanks for watching, and if you are interested in more content exploring the economics of dating, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.